डाली हैं हरियाणा की। 20 कंपनियां जो हमें केंद्र से मिली, हमने वो वहां पर डाली हैं। नू में
Welcome back. You're watching CNN News 18 with me, Griha. Now, there has been a development in the Gyanvapi case, and this can spell victory for the Hindu side, at least as step one. As the Muslim side plea has now been rejected by the Allahabad High Court, and the ASI scientific survey has been allowed. Remember, the High Court had stated that the survey is necessary in the interest of justice. In fact, the Anjuman Intezamia Masajid committee, which is the caretaker of the historic mosque in Varanasi, had filed a petition before the High Court saying that the ASI survey will be damaging the religious structure of the place. The survey can now, however, start at any time after the High Court verdict, which in fact rejected the Muslim side petition. The legal team of the Anjuman Intezamia Masajid committee has now confirmed to CNN News 18 that they will decide their next step, their next move, after the detailed order copy comes out. Also remember that the Hindu side has claimed that the mosque was built on the site of a temple by Aurangzeb in 1669 when he grazed the temple to build this mosque on it. And all of those details are going to be ascertained through the process of this ASI survey. If at all the historical significance of the Gyanvapi mosque complex is established, then the Places of Worship Act will not stand to implement as far as this particular complex is concerned.
चीफ जस्टिस साहब ने ये कहा है कि एएसआई ने एफिडेविट फाइल किया है और उस एफिडेविट के कंप्लायंस में
जो लिखित एफिडेविट दिया गया था
जी, उस एफिडेविट के कंप्लायंस में सर्वे किया जाए। साथ ही साथ उन्होंने कहा कि जब एएसआई ने एफिडेविट दिया है तो कोई मतलब नहीं है उसको डाउट करने का, और जो एएसआई ने एफिडेविट दिया उसके कंप्लायंस में ये पूरा सर्वे किया जाए। डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट का फैसला तत्काल प्रभाव से प्रभावी हो चुका है, ये भी आदेश में हुआ, और सिविल सूट जल्दी से जल्दी डिसाइड किया जाए, इसमें कोई एडजमेंट ना हो, ये भी कोर्ट ने आदेश दिया। हाई कोर्ट ने ये कहा कि जितने हमने केस लॉज दिखाए थे, लीगल पोजीशन यही है कि एएसआई सर्वे किसी भी स्टेज पे हो सकता है।
ज्ञानवापी मस्जिद केस के सिलसिले में वाराणसी कोर्ट ने 21 जुलाई को एएसआई सर्वे का ऑर्डर दिया था और उसके खिलाफ मुस्लिम साइड ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट में एक petition 24 जुलाई को फाइल किया और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 26 जुलाई तक सर्वे पर रोक लगाई और इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट में इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट से रुजू करने का ऑर्डर दिया और इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट में के सामने बात रखी गई और आज इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने सर्वे की इजाज़त दे दी है। यानी यकीनी तौर पर मुस्लिम साइड के पास अभी ये एक ऑप्शन मौजूद है कि इस ऑर्डर को सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने चैलेंज किया जाए जिससे कि कोई राहत मिल सके।
इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने ज्ञानवापी प्रकरण में आर्कियोलॉजी सर्वे की कार्रवाई को अलाउ कर दिया है। जो मुस्लिम पक्ष जाके हाई कोर्ट में सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चुनौती दी और उसके आलोक में हाई कोर्ट उन्हें कहा गया था कि आप आइए, और वहाँ पे पूरा विचारण हुआ और आर्कियोलॉजी सर्वे ने अपना हलफनामा देके अपने सारे तथ्यों को रखा कि किसी प्रकार से ढांचे को नुकसान नहीं होगा, और साथ में यह भी हिदायत है उसमें कि जो वजू खाना है जिसमें शिवलिंग प्रकट हुए हैं उसको किसी प्रकार से नुकसान या छेड़छाड़ नहीं की जाएगी, उसमें कोई हस्तक्षेप नहीं होगा। और ये पूरी तरह से पूरे परिसर का जो बैरिकेटेड एरिया है रकबा नंबर 9130 जिसमें कथित ज्ञानवापी मस्जिद अवस्थित है उसके सर्वे कराने की बात आ गई है।
मस्जिद कमेटी और हिंदू पक्ष दोनों का ही फायदा है कि एएसआई सर्वे हो, तो इससे निचली अदालत को फैसला देने में आसानी होगी, ट्रायल में आसानी होगी। हालांकि कोर्ट ने यह भी कहा है कि आज के फैसले से केस की मेरिट प्रभावित नहीं होगी, ये केवल और केवल एक प्रोसेस है। मतलब हिंदू आज जीत गया, मैं ये भी कहता हूँ, क्योंकि यहाँ पे बनारस में आपका आदि विशेश्वर का पूरा स्ट्रक्चर है, मंदिर का पूरा अवशेष है, ये एडवोकेट कमीशन रिपोर्ट में आ चुका है, तो हमें लगता है कि हम लड़ाई यहाँ से जीत चुके हैं।
उच्च न्यायालय के आदेश का हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि एएसआई की सर्वे के माध्यम से सच्चाई बाहर आएगी और ज्ञानव्यापी का जो विवाद है श्री राम जन्मभूमि विवाद की तरह इसका भी निर्णय होगा, निस्तारण होगा और शिव भक्तों की जो मनोभावना है, मनोकामना है, वो पूर्ण होगी।
Taking this across to my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar, our legal correspondent, to offer more perspective on the story that we have been tracking since the word go. Ananya, now this is definitely a setback for the Muslim petitioners, considering the Supreme Court had in fact asked them to appeal before the High Court because they felt that ample time was not granted to the Muslim side to go ahead and appeal against the verdict that was coming in from the lower court in Varanasi. Now all of that has been put on a level playing field, the survey has been allowed. So whatever was the plea that was put forth in the High Court by the Muslim side doesn't stand.
Well, definitely all the arguments that were addressed by the Hindu side have been accepted, and the Muslim side's argument has been turned down by the Allahabad High Court's bench headed by the Chief Justice Mr. Prithankar Dwivedi. And what has been very, very clearly, Prithankar Divakar, and what has been very, very categorically stated is that the Archaeological Survey of India's exercise will be carried out at the Gyanvapi site, though since the detailed order copy is not available at this point of time, and what we have been told is that it runs into almost 200 to 300 pages, and that's the reason why in fact it would take a little time to actually upload that particular judgment copy, and it might be uploaded post lunch session itself only. The Muslim side has clearly told us that, you know, they will be approaching the Supreme Court and would be deciding upon their next legal move only after seeing the judgment that's been given out by the Allahabad High Court in this particular regard. But very, very clearly it's a big win for the Hindu side coming in. Remember that the Archaeological Survey of India will carry out its survey in basically two parts. One is the GPR survey that they will be carrying out, that's ground penetrating radar. GPRs are basically a machine consisting of two parts. One is a transmitter and one is a receiver. The transmitter sends in a wave beneath the ground in order to check if something is beneath the ground, and then only the Archaeological Survey of India can actually map that particular area and see as to what is beneath the ground and what is the archaeological age of it is determined with the second process that is called the dating. Two types of dating is done, absolute dating or relative dating. Absolute dating is basically to check the archaeological age of a particular artifact that is found during an excavation or during a survey that is carried out by the Archaeological Survey of India or anybody. And in fact the relative dating would actually show as to which period does this particular artifact or particular thing belongs to in comparison to the other. So if at all it has to be judged as to whether this was a temple that was raised and then a mosque was built over it. So two parts would be compared in, and it would be seen as to whether these coexist or one has been made before it or after it. So it will determine a lot of things and will answer all the questions in this particular suit, though the Muslim side has been constantly saying that the section 75 of the Code of Civil Procedure, that is the CPC, clearly is violative, and which basically states that a scientific survey can be ordered only if the court is not happy with the oral evidence that is available on record. But the same has been countered by the Hindu side, constantly saying that a survey can be granted at any stage in the investigation, because the Muslim side has been constantly saying that this application by the Hindu side for a Archaeological Survey of India survey is something that is a very, very premature demand and should not be allowed. But the Allahabad High Court had held in contrary, clearly saying that this is something that is required in the interest of justice, and the Archaeological Survey of India survey has been allowed. Now what is the timeline of it would be clear only after the final judgment comes in. And remember that the 30-member team of the Archaeological Survey of India had sent its representative to the Allahabad High Court, which explained to the Allahabad High Court as to how will it carry this particular survey. In fact, an undertaking was also given out by the ASI that no kind of a damage would be done to the structure there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Ananya. In fact, we have ground reports that our colleagues have filed for us, and also reactions that continue to pour in on this story. Let's take a look.
इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने ज्ञानवापी परिसर में एएसआई सर्वे की इजाजत दे दी है। यहां पर मुस्लिम पक्ष की तरफ से जो इंतजामिया इंतजामिया की जो याचिका थी उसको खारिज किया गया है, यानी कि तत्काल प्रभाव से जो 21 जुलाई को वाराणसी जिला कोर्ट का फैसला था वो कोर्ट का फैसला मान्य होगा। एएसआई की टीम, आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया की टीम कभी भी ज्ञानवापी परिसर में पहुंच सकती है, जैसा कि हिंदू पक्ष की तरफ से कहा गया।